Some families don't fall apart because of lack of love. They fall apart because they don't know how to make decisions when the care gets real. That's right. Today, we are in the group chat. Let's go.
Hey loves, welcome to A Touch of Love Talks podcast. I'm Lovey Baxter, family nurse practitioner, master's level social worker, and certified dementia practitioner. I'm so glad you're here. This is a safe space to talk about the challenges of taking care of your aging family member. I'm going to teach you how to protect your peace. Make sure you are informed and supported through this difficult journey. So you made it. You're in the right place at the right time to get the right information. Get comfortable, kick back, and let's dive in.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you all have made your way back to the right place at the right time to get the right information. That's right. Today, we are entering the group chat. We are entering the group chat. Y'all, these two letters that I got today are so amazing because number one, I appreciate you all for writing in and trusting me again with your heart and with your most sensitive and vulnerable times in your life, dealing with your loved one, trying to figure out what is best for them. And the fact that you want to include me in on that and get my part, my say, my 2 cents, as I like to say. I am so appreciative of that. So we are going to dive right in because if we're being honest, a lot of what is going on about the care of loved ones is not happening in like a sterile environment with a professional, the doctor or the nurse practitioner, not even with structure, unfortunately. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But it is happening right in the group chat, the family group chat, right? Where emotions are high. Hello, is this thing on? Hello, hello, hello. That's right, I said it. Emotions are high. People are overwhelmed. People are not always informed. And so we got to do something about that. So today, let's read letter number 1, the email I received from them. Again, thank you for writing in. This one says, "Hi, Lovey. My siblings and I are not on the same page about my mom. I am the one who lives closest and I am doing the most of her care. She has fallen twice." Oh my gosh. Y'all know, if you know anything about me, I cannot stand when my seniors fall. I don't want that to happen because it totally changes the trajectory of their care. She's fallen twice. She's forgetting her medications, and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. Okay. I suggested we look into a care home like yours. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. But my brother said, I'm trying to put her away. My sister thinks we should just wait and see. I feel stuck. I don't want to make the wrong decision, but I also don't feel like what we're doing now is safe. Ooh, child, here we go. We are in the group chat. We are in the group chat. Okay, so letter number 1. Let's talk about it. Let's pause for a second. This is not just a disagreement, okay? Yes, sibling 1 wants this, sibling 2 wants that, sibling 3 wants something else. This is not about that. This has moved on to safety. Y'all, remember what I told y'all in my previous podcast. And if you're not following along on this journey, please do. Go back to number 1, where I am telling you simply about what this setting is going to be, what this environment is going to be. It's a safe place for us to really talk about stuff that nobody else out here in these streets are talking about but Lovey, right? So go back and listen to it because I just talked about safety. Safety trumps everything. If you play spades, the card game spades, what does the spade do? It trumps everything. So safety, bam, that's the spade. It trumps everything. We want our elders, we want our senior citizens to be safe because, like I just mentioned, one fall changes everything. Okay. So we don't want that. So this letter, this email is a safety issue. All right. We've got falls, we've got medication errors, we've got caregiver burnout. Even if you didn't know it, you just said you're tired. We got to put that on the list. You're overwhelmed. That equals to caregiver burnout. So that means this has moved beyond wait and see. I'm sorry, sister, you're going to be mad at me, but we're past the let's wait and see what mom does or let's wait and see how this is going to work out. Let me tell you something. Once safety is compromised, you are no longer in the wait and see category. You've passed that. So, what does this family need to do? And you didn't leave me your name, so I'm sure you know your situation. What do you need to do? You need to get a clinical assessment, okay, of your parent by a primary care physician, nurse practitioner, or some type of specialist that has been involved with her care and that has been able to see the declination of her disease process, how she has been declining over time, okay? You need to get them involved. You need to get a definition of what level of care are we? Are we at independent? I'll tell you right now, we're not there. Okay. We're past that because we're already having safety issues. So she's not independent, right? Are we at assisted living? Maybe. Are we at the need for a residential care home? Maybe. Okay. So we need to define her level of care. What does she need? Does she need somebody around the clock? Maybe not. She may just need somebody that's there during the day to give cues because she sleeps all night. I don't know. You didn't say that in your letter. But that's what I mean by define the level of care. How much care does she need? That is so important, okay? Then we need to assign decision roles. Now, this is where it's going to get real crazy in the group chat because I'm going to say it. It may not come across right, but that's just the way I roll. I'm not here for likes. Everyone does not get an equal say. And I hope you see me batting my eyes because I'm trying to be nice when I say that. But everyone deserves a voice, right? Sister, brother, and you. Everybody can say something about how they feel about the situation, but decisions should be led by the ones carrying the responsibility. Because if I'm over here in Minnesota, I don't know why I picked Minnesota. I've never even been to Minnesota. But anyway, I do want to go to the Mall of America. But okay, let me focus. If I'm in Minnesota and you are here in Texas and you're with mom, then me saying, well, I don't think that she should be placed somewhere because I just don't think that's right. Then come do it. Let me bring mom up to Minnesota and you take her to Mall of America with you. And that's not being mean. It's just real, it's realistic. If you're not the one in the trenches as we call it in healthcare, then you get a vote, but you don't get a full 100% vote. You can say what you want, you can voice what you want, but at the end of the day, Everyone deserves a voice. That is true. But the decision should be led by the ones carrying the responsibility. And I stand 10 toes down on that. Okay? Now, something else that you all need to do is you need to bring in a neutral professional. If it's getting crazy in the group chat, then we're not here to argue. We don't have time for that. That's not what is going to help mom or dad. We're here to make decisions and we want to be intentional about our decisions. So sometimes with the emotions that we have, because at the end of the day, it's mom and it's dad. If you bring in somebody who's neutral to that, who can make the hard decisions, who can say the hard things, like I'm saying, because they're removed from the emotions, right? They can say, sister up in Minnesota, let's think about it. You are saying that mom shouldn't be placed, but are you willing to bring her up there to take some of the burden off? You know, I can say that because I'm not emotionally involved. And she can get mad at me all day, every day, even on a holiday. And it protects the unity of the family. So don't sleep on bringing in professionals. And the professionals can be somebody like your primary care physician. It could be your whomever is taking care of mom. Let's say you have a caregiver that's coming in, that's helping you for 4 or 5 hours out of the day. It could be a family friend. Be careful with that one, but it can be just somebody who is removed from what you all have going on. Okay. That helps tremendously. As long as they know what they're talking about. Don't just bring in old Joe from off the street, right? Make sure that it's a neutral professional. Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean that, Joe off the street. I'm sorry. But yeah, you gotta make the playing field level, okay? And the next thing I want you to do is set a timeline because what I see too often from families that I meet with is I'll go in there and I'll go in because, mom has had a significant change in her condition. And so they call me in, Lovey, we need you to come and have a family meeting with us. And we need you to come and talk to everybody and da 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 da. So I come in, I assess the situation, and I say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And you know what I hear sometimes is, all right, Lovey, thanks so much for coming. Oh my God, that was so helpful. And da 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 da, we appreciate it. And we feel better about this. And we know what we need to do, and yada 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 yada. And you know why I'm saying yada 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 yada? Because 2 weeks later, when I call to check on them, a week later, when I call to check on them, what have they done? Go ahead. I'll wait. Nothing. Because they're scared. They get scared again. So, this is what I want you to do. Set a timeline. Timeline and a deadline, okay? By April the 1st, we're going to make a decision on what we're going to do with mom. I'm not saying that you got to have her moved out. In some cases, yeah, you have to. But at least you're being intentional about what you're going to do, okay? No more we'll see. We're past we'll see in this situation. In this first letter, we're past. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Because she's already doing things that could really cause her harm. Safety has entered the room. So we'll see is out of the room, okay? Remember this, if you don't listen to nothing else I say in regards to your letter, I want you to remember this. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't care. Just remember it. Delay is the most expensive decision a family can make. Hello, is this thing on? Can you hear me? Let me say it again for those in the back. Delay is the most expensive decision a family can make. In other words, you delaying making a decision is going to cost you more money. Ask me how I know. I do this every day. And had you moved mom in before she fell and broke her hip, then the cost of living wherever you're placing her probably is going to be different by the thousands of dollars. Why? Because her level of care has gone up. Okay? So don't delay. Let's start making some decisions. Let's set a timeline and a deadline and circle back, circle the block. Let me enter the group chat. I want to know where you all are in 2 weeks. I think that's fair. All right. Let me hear back from you. All right. Let's go on to letter number 2. This family dynamic was a little bit different. So I want to address it because I also see this a lot when I'm talking to families. Had a family call today, matter of fact. And it was so funny because I knew I was going to be taping this podcast this evening. And when I was talking to this family, I'm like, I wonder, is this the family that wrote in? I I wonder, is this the email that I'm reading tonight? And I didn't want to ask them and put them on the spot because they came in actually anonymous. They didn't put any, they signed it anonymous. So I know they don't want to be identified. But I was like, I wonder if this is the same family that sent me an email. But nonetheless, I was able to help them in real time. And if this is you and now I'm reading your email, hey, I probably am going to say the same thing. It may be better that you're hearing it twice. Here we go. Here's the letter. It says, Hi, Lovey. My dad was diagnosed with dementia last year. He still recognizes us, but he's becoming more confused and sometimes aggressive. My sister wants to keep him at home no matter what. She says putting him in a facility would break his heart. But I'm worried about his safety. Here we go about safety again. He's wandered outside twice and left the stove on. Every time I bring up more care, it turns into an argument. I don't want to fight, but I also don't want something bad to happen. How do we handle this? We are in the group chat. Oh my goodness. And I can just see the text thread going, going, going. Well, you should do this. You should do that. Da, 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 da. First of all, let's start with education when it comes to this letter. You got to be educated on what you're dealing with, okay? When you know better, you do better, right? And so the first thing that I would say when we're dealing with what you wrote in this letter, and I know that this probably does not even tip the iceberg of what's going on in the situation, but what stood out to me is that do you all understand that dementia is progressive, right? What you see today is not where this is going to stop. So dementia does not stay the same. It progresses, whether you're ready or not. Ready or not. I'm sorry. I don't know why I broke into that song. Okay. Whether you're ready or not, dementia is going to progress. Unfortunately, I do not like this disease process. I promise you. I don't know which one is worse, dementia or cancer, because it continues to progress. And what I mean by progress, I mean it's going to get worse, right? Very rarely do we see a patient with dementia go ahead and pass away and their dementia kind of stays the same. Some of our slower progressing dementias, yeah, but still you see a downward slope. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to progress whether you're ready or not. So how you handle it today could affect your loved ones, how they progress in their disease process altogether. It definitely can affect how you are going to handle it, okay? Whether or not you're going to be stressed out or whether or not you're going to be able to sit in your natural role, which is son, daughter, niece, nephew, or if you're going to be this, stressed out caregiver. And this is not for everyone, all right? When I speak, I'm not speaking that this is the exact rule for every single person. Y'all, I'm in medicine. I totally understand that not every situation is going to be the same, just like not every human body is the same. What is in the textbook what's in the textbook tells me one thing about a disease process, but when it gets to actual human, it could be completely different for patient A versus patient B. And that's what I love about medicine. That's what I love about the human body. So don't be in my comment section. Don't be in my email saying, well, my mom didn't do that. And this happened to my dad. And this, and that. I know. I know. I'm talking about the letter that is in front of me, and I'm speaking in broad spectrums of what could happen, what usually happens. If your loved one is the exception to the rule, I love it. I'm here for it. But most of the time, this is what happens, okay? So, what we need to do, we got to think about what's going on. And let's talk about your sister first of all. And why I'm going in on the females today, I don't know, but girls, we got to get ourselves all the way together. So, let me help you, sis. You're right and you're wrong. You are right and you are wrong in this letter or in your thoughts. It might break his heart, but what I think is going to happen or what I think is let me see, how do I put this? When you say it's going to break his heart, it's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart. Dad's probably going to be living his best life because he's going to be in an environment, he's going to be around his peers. He may meet some new friends, he might get, acquainted with somebody. I mean, the world can open up for him. And with dementia, his world has changed so much. So I'm not saying that it's not going to break his heart, but I know that it's going to break your heart. Okay. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with because, again, that's emotional. And when we're dealing with our parents, we have to be able to separate emotion versus what needs to happen for their own good, okay? Or for their safety, which equates to their own good, right? So, emotions cannot override safety. So, again, I'm saying it. How many times have I said it in just this podcast? Safety trumps everything, emotions included, right? Even if let's say even if dad's heart is broken, if the person that is providing the care in this situation, it was dad, no, it was brother. I don't know if it was a male or female. I don't know. I'm not going to go back and read it and see. But whomever wrote this letter, that's the primary caregiver. If they're male or female, it doesn't matter. They have to have confidence that they can provide the care. So whether it's a son, whether it's a daughter, it doesn't matter. They need to be confident in knowing that they can provide the care and that they can keep dad safe, right? And I'm not hearing that. Why? Because dad is wandering around. There's a fire risk because he's teeter tattering with the stove. He left it on. And there's the obvious cognitive decline, right? So that requires structured care. Point blank, period. There's no guessing with that. He left the stove on. That could be a whole fire. And we don't want that to happen. We're not going to sit around and wait and see. Maybe next time we'll be lucky too that somebody caught it. No. When we start seeing those types of behaviors, those types of symptoms, we want to act. Why? Because we don't want to have to react later. What did I tell you? Delay is the most expensive decision a family can make. And we don't even have to go down the rabbit hole of where just these symptoms that he is having will lead us, right? A fire to the house, and now we got to buy it somewhere else to live, a new home, it could cost somebody their life. We can't replace that. He could wander down the street. We don't want APS knocking at our door. So what do we do? What do we do? I'm getting off your back, sister. What do we do, Lovey? I'm glad you asked. We're going to create a dementia care plan. What in the world is a dementia care plan? It's simply a care plan. It's a book. It's a piece of paper. It's a phone in your notes, whatever. I don't care. We're going to write down what we're going to do to take care of dad. I love sports, so I think of it as it's our game day plan. It's our game book. What are we going to do to take care of dad, of mom, of Uncle Bob, Aunt Susie? Y'all thought I forgot about them? I didn't. So, create a dementia care plan. What triggers dad? What does he normally do when he gets up in the morning? If he gets upset, what medications work? What is he normally doing when he gets upset? What time of day is it when he gets upset? We're just going to start jotting down things that we are seeing with our eyes, whether they're trained or untrained. You don't have to be Scooby Doo to see that dad is upset and it's 4 o'clock and he's done that for the last 4 days. Maybe he's sundowning. Okay. Dad gets very upset when he doesn't have his cereal set out for him in the morning. If he gets up and it's not set out, then he gets upset. Those types of things, only somebody that's involved with his care would be able to, denote those types of things. But it could be anything that's going to help us create a care plan to take care of him. Why this is important. And anybody that is taking care of somebody with dementia, I'm telling you, this will save you time, money, energy, headaches, worries, pains, whatever else you want to add to that list. Why? Because instead of having to go over this every single time you have to leave your loved one with somebody, you can just, here it is. And of course, you're not just going to hand somebody a book and walk away, but it gives them a point of reference. Morning routine, midday routine, evening routine. Dad likes his socks left on. Don't take his socks off. Those type of little bitty things matter, and they help provide good care. I'm telling you, we do it all day, every day in my care homes. I have a cheat sheet on all of my residents. Why? Because it matters to me what is comfortable for them. And it matters to me how I can best provide quality care. And quality of care means what's important to them. Does it change frequently? Sometimes it does. What do? We update it. Okay. If you're taking care of somebody with dementia, it's a game changer, okay? And it helps you get out the house sooner and faster when you're wanting to go somewhere because you're leaving something behind that people can reference. So then you want to evaluate your home for safety. We're going back to what I want you to do. Create the dementia care plan. Number one. Number two, evaluate your home for safety. Do you need to put a lock on the front door where you have to have a key to get out? Do you need to put a doorbell on your dad's door? I had something in my mouth. Okay, sorry. Do you want to put a doorbell on your dad's door so when he comes out of his room, you're alerted to that? Do you need to professionally lock the windows? I had a patient one time that liked to climb out of the windows. I'm thinking, you are 79 years old. How are you bending your knees that good to get out the window? But she could. So I had to figure out what I could put on the window so she couldn't raise it up. There are so many things that you have to think of to keep your loved ones safe, right? And I do this all day. I've been doing this for 30 years, working in geriatrics. I've been in the residential care home space for over 9 years. So, yes, these things just kind of, I can look at a patient or look at a family and just say, you need to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, well, dang, we didn't even think about that, right? So I'm not expecting you just to know all the things to do, but that's why we're here. That's why this is a safe space for you to say, Lovey, this is what mom is doing. Lovey, this is what dad is doing. What do you recommend? What should I do? Let's talk about it. Okay. So, dementia care plan, evaluate your home for safety. And that can look a lot of ways, and before you go, locking doors and stuff, we have to think it through. If you put a lock on the doors, make sure you have keys in different places, because what you don't want to do is lock that door and then a fire breaks out and you can't find your key. So we want keys to that same door in different places, okay? You'll thank me later for that. And then I want you to reframe, and this is for everybody, reframe placement thoughts. What do you mean by that, Lovey? Stop thinking that if I place mom over here, it's the end of the world. If I place dad here, he's going to have a broken heart. That's y'all's feelings. That is what you're feeling. Okay? That's not necessarily what your loved one is going to feel. I deal with families a lot that come to me and say, "Oh, Lovey, I'm just not sure about this, but I'm going to trust you and we're going to place mom or dad in your care and da 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 da. And I just don't know if this is the right decision, but we're going to trust you. We're going to do it." 2 weeks later, guess what? Lovey, this was the best decision ever, and I'm just so glad we did it. And da da da. Go read my reviews. There's plenty of them in there that say exactly that. Why? Because sometimes our emotions, our feelings, we project that onto what we think mom or dad are going to feel. And it's not always true. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's 100% mom or dad good. I've had a lot of people mad at me. A lot of my patients come to me mad at the world for having been placed. Do they turn around after time? Yes, they do. But initially, you're right. They are mad at the world and everybody in it. So everybody's different. But let's give it a chance if the caregiver situation is burnout, dire need of help. We got to do something, right? I don't want you just spinning your wheels where your mental health is at risk, because how are you going to care for somebody else? You can't care for yourself, right? So, the last thing I want you to do so I can get out of y'all's group chat is I want you to start normalizing. And again, this is for everybody because I try to address and generalize my responses as much as possible when I'm trying to tell you all my suggestions, and that's all these are. Last thing that I want you to do is I want you to hold structured family meetings, okay? What I mean by that is stop calling sister one day, texting, okay, dad's got to have a procedure. I'll let you know more when that's going to happen. Okay, texting brother on another day. Dad may have a procedure. We're still trying to figure it out. We did meet with this people and they're saying that we're going to do this. You're wearing yourself out, okay? Let's have one meeting. Every Tuesday, we're going to meet and we're going to talk about what's going on with dad, whether it's in person, whether it's at Cheddar's. Do they still have Cheddar's? I just, I do not know why sometimes the stuff flies out of my mouth, but that's a nice restaurant for croissants. Anyway, let me focus. Let's meet at a restaurant, have dinner every month, once a month, and talk about everything that's going on with dad. Let's have a Zoom call and talk about what's going on with mom twice a week, twice a month. I don't know what the amount of or how often I'm sorry, the frequency, couldn't think of the word. I'm not sure of the frequency that it needs to occur for your family, but the structured meetings are going to be your best friend. And let me tell you why. Because I'm going to put the letters down. We're done with the letters. Because it is going to allow everybody to be in the same place at the same time to get the same information, right? That sound familiar? Right place, right time to get the right information. So, whether you all meet every Tuesday or Wednesday when I'm dropping my podcast and that you watch my podcast and then after that you talk about it, whatever. Just come up with some type of normalcy where y'all are meeting on a consistent basis, okay? To talk about what's going on with mom or dad or Uncle Bob or Aunt Susie. That way, nobody can say, well, we didn't have a say on this, or we didn't have a say on that, or they just made that decision and they didn't even ask. We're going to eliminate the group chat drama today. That's the goal of today's podcast. Eliminate the group chat drama. And to do that, we're going to normalize having structured family meetings, whether they're in person, over Zoom, over FaceTime, whatever works for your family. Not only does it build a unity around this very delicate situation, but it allows everybody to be updated with the same information at the same time. Okay? And it eliminates all of the unnecessary fights and arguing because we don't have time for that. We are trying to take care of mom and dad because why they took care of us. So we have to be very intentional about what we're doing. We need to be thoughtful about our approach. And definitely, we've got to come up with a plan because we already talked about what delay brings. And of one fall, one hospitalization, or something irreversible. Oh my goodness. Now your decisions are made in crises, right? We don't want that because a crisis will make the decision for you if you don't make it first. Hello, is this thing on? Can you hear me? A crisis will make the decision for you if you don't make it first. Now, with that, I'm going to say thank you all for writing in. I hope that something that I said today will jar something in you to say, ooh, let me call my family today so that we can talk about mom or dad and we can get our affairs in order and get out of arguing in the group chat. We're done with that, okay? No more arguing in the group chat. Let's be intentional about being caregivers of mom and dad. If you find something that I said very helpful, if you find something that I said worth sharing with somebody else, if you've listened to me and you said, hey, that family is going through that, tell them. Tell them to listen to my podcast, share it, spread the word. I have some very exciting news that I am so eager to share. The last episode, which was episode 5, I believe. Yes, because we're on 6. So, episode 5, sorry, y'all, I got so much stuff going through my brain. On episode 5, I shared that we were ranked number 69 at that time in the category of family and caregiving on podcast, right? I don't even know the right terminology. I got to figure it out. So we were ranked number 69 at the time. Y'all, not even a week later. Oh my goodness. Turn the mics on. Is the mic on? Listen to me. We are number 31. Yes! Y'all, we are moving on up in the podcast ranking systems. I am so blessed and fortunate to be in this situation. Y'all are listening. Y'all may not be liking and sharing like I want you to, but you're listening and it's being reflected in the numbers. And that just makes my heart happy because at the end of the day, I just want the information out there. I just want you to make good decisions when it comes to, excuse me, mom and dad. I just want you to be able to get the information that you need because you don't know what you don't know, right? And a lot of people don't even know that care is out here. So we're number 31. I'm so proud of this podcast and how it has just taken off. 6 episodes in, 7 if you count the bonus episode where I put when I was out at a community center speaking to a group of seniors. So, y'all, I am so thankful that y'all are riding this journey with me. Thank you for all the emails, the text messages, the inboxes on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, y'all are just showing so much love and people I know, people I don't know. So I would be amiss if I did not say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me and my mission, my ministry, both in my residential care home, A Touch of Love Care Homes, where we're providing the care your loved one deserves, and here on A Touch of Love Talks, the podcast, where we want you to be in the right place at the right time to get the right information. That's all for today. Go share this podcast, like, subscribe. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
All right, loves, that's it for now. If this conversation helped you in any way, then go ahead and subscribe so you can stay connected. And don't forget to hit that bell so you can be in the right place at the right time to get the right information. Hey, until next time, protect your peace and advocate for the one you love.